central part of this exercise is really going out and finding those ECD programs that we don't know about, that aren't on any list, and that the various data collection activities that have taken place haven't managed to capture. So it's really great to hear a bit more about the exhaustive process that you and your team are going to be going through in every ward of the country to really attempt to find every single program. Thanks for that. Aisha, I think many of us would like to know, will there be another census next year, or how will this go forward? I think you're muted, sorry.
I'm muted, there we go. You know, Nick, we all know that conducting a universal census of this magnitude is quite a large, quite a complex, and a very expensive exercise. The intention is to update and maintain the baseline data that is going to be collected, through this particular census, and we want to do this as frequently as we possibly can. However, this does not necessarily mean that we have to be, conducting these yearly updates via yearly, censuses. Therefore, the Department of Basic Education is exploring various other mechanisms and strategies in which we can, do this and ensure that we do have updated information coming through from the ECD sector, so that we do not need to go back through this very extensive exercise again. We are trying to embed, systems, as I've mentioned. We've got a few systems at play at the moment. So we are, exploring ways to develop systems and implement these systems so that this information will be updated as frequently as possible. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Aisha. And that's great to know. And I think it'll be really great for the project to be able to leverage on the extensive experience of EMIS within the DBE to figure out the best mechanisms of keeping this database updated without necessarily needing to go into the field that often. So that's great to know. So we've come to the end of our formal panel discussion section. We've run out of time, and now we're going to transition over to the Q&A session from the floor. I see that some questions have been coming through. I also see that some of the colleagues from the project have been responding to some of the questions, but I think we can still engage with some of those questions that are coming through. I see one here, and I'm going to address the questions to particular members of the panel, but other members, please feel free to jump in if you want to add additional information. So I see one here saying, will non-center based programs be included? Kulula, maybe I can hand that one over to you to start off.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you for that question. It's very important. The answer is yes, we want to reach all ECD programs, be they center-based, be they playgroups, be they registered, be they unregistered. The intention for this exercise is to get all those programs that have been provided counted so that we can have the data. Thank you. So I hope that question really is clarified.
Thank you. Thanks, Kulula.
Non-formal. Yes.
Yes, no, I think that's really great to emphasize that this activity is not just about those sort of formal centers that may be registered. I think it's really going out of its way to locate all kinds of ECD programs across the country. I saw there was a question also about field work. Where has it started? Where is it going to start soon? Has it started already? It seems like the Free State has begun. Maybe I can just hand over to Jan to discuss a little bit about, when can the different provinces expect field workers to begin going out and visiting ECD programs. I'll hand over to you, Jan.
Sure. So we did the training for Free State last week, which means that on Tuesday we started already collecting data in the Free State. The provinces that are currently being trained this week is Cape Town or Western Cape, Gauteng, and Durban, well, Port Shepstone actually, so it's like KZN. After that, it's going to be 2 more weeks of training. In each week, there are going to be 3 different locations. I think it's Eastern Cape and Mpumalanga after that, and Gauteng again, because a lot of places actually do the training in Gauteng. So it's going to be a staggered rollout. I think there was a slide earlier in Janani's presentation with the dates, basically, or the weeks for each province, and how it works. Like after every training in a province, the week after that, fieldwork is going to start in that province. So by mid-September, we're going to be nationwide in the field, and we'll be visiting places everywhere.
Great, thanks, Jan. I think that helps with clarity around when provinces can expect field workers to get in touch and begin visiting programs. And I see a question here, which I think is really important, from Sheila in the chat, about how will you overcome reluctance you might find to participate from fear of being punished for not being registered? Kulula, maybe I'll hand that over to you to start, but other panelists feel free to also jump in.
Okay, so thank you for that question, Sheila. And Nick and we did actually anticipate that this is one of the challenges that our field workers might face when they get to the field, and it is for that reason that we really invested in raising awareness about the intention of the census. We also understand that the sector is familiar with DSD being the custodian of ECD currently, and so even just the Department of Education being the department that is going to be leading the census is also one of the issues that we anticipated could actually lead to some element and some issues of distrust from the sector. So we really are relying on the information that we have put out there, working extensively with the sector, working through the structures like the Intersectoral Forum to assure the ECD programs out there that this is not intended to be a punitive process, and that this process will actually benefit them, particularly those who are not registered, because they will get to be known the challenges and the gaps that they have, which are those that mitigate against them being registered will then come to the fore, and together we will plan on how to resolve and support them so that they can get to being registered. So really there is no intention for us to punish anybody. So we would like to still assure everybody and call out on all of those who are providing ECD programs to come forward and to be part of this process so that they can then get themselves to a position where they are registered, because there are benefits to registration. But really, Sheila, I really appreciate that information, and it is one piece of information that we want to really publish in all our awareness raising campaigns, that there is no intention to punish non-registered programs. We actually want to know about them. Thank you.
Thanks, Kulula. That's such an important point, and I think something that the project will need to continue to emphasize as it goes forward in terms of this is not a punitive exercise in any way. It's really just trying to find as many programs so that we can better support them in the long run. So thank you for that. I see a question here. It's a technical one, so this could probably go to you, Jan. What data collection and management tool will you be using? I'm curious about the accuracy of the data.
Thank you. Something I could talk about for a long time, so I'm trying to keep it short. We're using a mobile data management tool called Survey C2O. It's running on tablets, so the data is being captured on tablets and being sent to our server in real time. And on the back end, we have a mechanism in place to check incoming submissions in real time So if there's anything funny about a submission, like a very unlikely combination of responses or very short interview, then it's being flagged immediately, and actually the team leader in the field gets a notification to check up on the field worker. We also have a dashboard in place where we can check up on results in real time. So if a certain field worker or team is producing unusual results over time, then we can pick that up.
Thanks, Jan. And maybe just a follow-up to that question, which I don't think was covered earlier, but I think is really important, is how will ECD programs know that a field worker who arrives at their doorstep is legitimate? What should they look out for when field workers visit?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because it's something we're very worried about, that someone will try to hijack the process to do things with more sinister motives. And what we have in place, every field worker has a permission letter from DBE, a signed letter with a letterhead. It's laminated, and also a brochure with more information about the ECD Census. We're also going to leave behind an information letter with details and numbers and contact numbers for when you want to follow up with more information. All field workers are also going to wear a name tag with the ECD Census logo and the eCapa data logo. And all field workers are going to be wearing one of these masks.
Which also has the census logo on it. Yes, great. Thank you, Jan. That's really helpful, and so ECD programs know what to look out for. I think we might have time for one or two more questions. I see another question from Sheila here, which says, will the field workers be able to respond to questions and concerns from practitioners about the function shift? Jan, I think you did mention some materials that may be left behind. Don't know if the DBE colleagues would like to add anything on this front, but maybe from a field worker perspective, what will the situation be if there are questions that are raised?
So we trained the field workers to be aware of this function shift and to know about the function shift, but we're also reluctant to let the field workers ask or answer questions that go beyond the ECD Census. That's why we have the information sheet where we have contact numbers and contact details, where the ECD practitioners can find out more about the function shift or about the ECD Census.
Great, thank you, Jan. I see another question, and perhaps this can just be the final one. It's about the POPI Act, which I know has been quite a big feature in many of our lives in the last few months. And the question is just what conditions and contracts have been put in place for the protection of personal information as per the POPI Act for the census project. Jan, maybe you can respond to that, or Aisha.
Well, Jan can take it from the perspective of running the actual survey or the actual census and collecting the information. From the DBE's perspective, we've actually consulted our legal services, and there is a very clear disclaimer in the instrument, signed and adhered to by the person providing the information, as well as all the components that are going to be accessing this information. So the service provider, as well as the National Department of Basic Education, whoever has access to this data, we are going to be in full compliance to the POPI Act. And as I've said, we've consulted the legal services, and there's a very clear disclaimer that is going to be included in the instrument. So everyone will be held accountable. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks so much, Aisha. Jan, I don't know if that covers it or if you have any additional things to add.
No, that's I can only confirm that the consent basically is covering also the POPI Act specifically.
Great, and that's really good to know that. Yeah, project is very mindful of that aspect. So we've already run out of time for Q&A. I do see that colleagues from the project team have been attempting to respond to as many of the questions that have come through as possible, and will continue to do so that we make sure we've addressed all questions directly after this session. But now that we've finished with the Q&A, I'm going to hand over to DDG Ms. Simone Geyer, who has been able to join us, which is fantastic news, to just give some closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the panel, and thank you so much to all of you. This is absolutely wonderful, and thank you for everyone who has attended here today. We hope that this briefing has provided you with a clear overview of the ECD Census project, and we hope that you are as excited as us and as optimistic as we are about the benefits of this particular project that it can have for the ECD sector in the future. Many of you on this call are our most trusted voices in the ECD sector, and we appeal to you today to join us and to add your voice of support to this project and to communicate to all the constituent members and colleagues. It's so important that this information goes out and that everyone carries knowledge of what exactly this is about. This ECD Census is one of our flagship projects for this year. And as we prepare to take responsibility for the ECD programs that will be coming over to the DBE in 1 April next year. So the focus of the DBE will be to increase access to quality ECD provisioning, and this will be done through strengthening the implementation of the National Curriculum Framework through play-based learning programs. The information gained in the census is therefore so important to us, because this will help us to better plan for the increased access that we wish to provide when this function comes over to us, so that we are able to increase the sector in terms of the support that we are able to provide. And so all of what you have heard here today, this is about how the success of the census will rest on the ECD programs that will be willing to participate. And we appeal to everyone in the sector to help to encourage ECD programs to work with us and to make this project a success. I wish to thank every single person for attending here today, and ask you once again to spread the word about what exactly our census is about and to get everyone to participate. Let's get working. This is what we want to do for our country in terms of strengthening ECD provisioning. Thanks so much.